For me, it was like a journey which I had taken to join an education company, and this was way back when education segment started being called as a sunrise segment. I used to be working in FMCG. I moved to this education company, which had this amazing vision, and they wanted to bring in preschools in India at that point in time. I'm talking 2007. So I really liked the perspective because I learned that the child's brain development happens in the first 5 years. So if we really look back at what we have become today, it pretty much gets decided in our childhood. So I found it like really impactful that I could make a difference. So why not join this company and then figure out. Least did I know that the journey is going to be very, very difficult, Shrija. So what happened when I joined was that these preschools were, as a concept, very new to urban India. So while India was becoming nuclear families, which all of us today live in, a family of 3 or 4, that point of time it was just starting to happen. And I still remember Golden Quadrilateral project had just come in, India was getting wired with roads, all of that. So I joined this company and then we started building preschools. Fortunately, we built a fairly large chain of preschools. We went from a single digit to 1,000 preschools in the next 4 years. It became the world's largest preschool chain, and we went IPO. And some of us who were the core leadership team, I was the business head and elevated to a chief operating officer. So I had a tremendous journey from zero to that IPO. But during that time, I used to interact with parents every day at our preschools. So I would just sit with them, and something that became very popular about me across was Nitin's circle time. So I would just sit down with them in the garden and we would just chat, and they would complain, and then I would ask them a few questions. And there emerged a big gap area, which was that areas other than academics and education, things like child's behavior, child's weight, height, nutrition, psychology, health, immunity, these were becoming problems which parents wanted solutions for. Actually is the largest parents community of India, and today what we do is we solve 96% of parents' queries which come on Parentune through expert advice in under 40 minutes, and in fact 35% of queries in under 5 minutes. That first thing, or what you said, the core to a business, I would just say pain point phrase. And I want to say this because there are a lot of founders who are trying to build various companies, but the first and the most important fundamental of building a business is the pain point phrase. What's the pain you are going to solve? And then the second thing related to that is what you're building, is it a must have or is it good to have? So chances are if you're building what is good to have, you will be substituted sooner than later, or chances are you are entering an unviable market or you're entering a very crowded market. Because if it's good to have, then you'll be replaced. So I think those two are very important, and the cost of servicing needs to be understood before you understand your revenue. So whatever building blocks of businesses you're thinking, you have to figure out how are you going to service your customer, be it with a product or be it with a service. And what we did right from the beginning, by the way, first 5 years we did zero revenue because we were building community. And I put my entire savings behind the company. We got a few angels backing, friends and family backing. But the vision was very clear that, and this I did when startup was not even a cool word, right? So there were just 3 or 4 startups, Info Edge you named, right? That was one of the startups. Make My Trip Deep was building, that was a startup, and that's it. So at that point of time, my understanding was that the pain point phrase which we are solving is going to be must have. And fortunately we focused on that, otherwise we would have entered an unviable market. Now coming to the content side, yes, we are content, we are at the core a community business, and we now get more than 15 million parents using Parentune every month. So it's fairly large business. Now, community is the core, content is of course the juice of the community which keeps it going, but it's largely contributed by the community. So a lot of user generated content. And the third part, which is really important, which I think founders who are building content businesses understand, is the tech to make that possible that you're scaling on the back of something which is proprietary. So again, that's really, really important for us. In terms of numbers, where we finished last year, we finished at 38 million parents year before last in the year. And this year when we finished, we had helped 72 million parents. So today we are getting to close to 18 to 20% of the base of Indian parents. That is where we are. We've been profitable for 4 years. We had raised money earlier, but in terms of EBITDA, I can share we are anywhere between 18 to 19% today. See, I'm nobody to say, but I can share my mistakes. I have done plenty of them, and I think I still continue doing. One thing I just want to say is that in my team also one teammate is here today, Prachi is here. So we encourage our team also to try new things. Unless until you try, you don't do a mistake, you will not learn. The only thing I request the team is to reflect after that mistake and do a new mistake next time. Because that is how we will grow, right? So that's one thing which I wanted to first say. Second thing, Shrija, I'm really worried about the narrative I think as a panel we are giving about a few things, right? So sensationalism in media I think is really dangerous for building content business. That can be, and you gave an example, vitamin business or painkiller business. I think the closer example would be life-saving business. Okay, how many of us are building actually progressive, positive businesses to solve real problems? So I think that's really important from the previous conversation. Now let me tell you, if I start talking about my mistakes, आज पूरा panel सारे खत्म, but I can share a few. One biggest mistake was Parentune became very popular, but as a mnemonic. If you see the logo, like you see the logo here, the top part which you see became very popular. So everyone who used to see this used to tell us 4 years, 5 years down the line, oh yeah, dekha hai, But Parentune people didn't remember. And guess what? Biggest mistake which we did was everywhere we were putting this out because social media formats, if you see, they have a place to put your logo. So in the logo we missed out Parentune. Now imagine you will call me stupid, right? This is such a silly mistake, but we did it. And I'm sharing this with you guys because these are things which I've done as mistakes. So Parentune logo used to be horizontal. The world changed to these digital formats becoming, and we are digital platform first, and we missed this out, right? But the fact that we quickly learned that and then we built a sound logo, all of that, so you need to reflect and learn from a mistake. The second one is what I was saying earlier. If you can't put your pain point phrase very clearly out there and you're building features, if anyone here is building a consumer internet company, if you're building features after features and you're not solving a real problem, and if you're not getting the consumer to come back to you, then believe me, you're actually doing it unconsciously, but that's something which you would want to change. You've done that mistake as well, right? Trying to put all the features. The third is having your own worldview, right? So I personally feel Gen Z is not the way some of us make them sound. Okay, I may be contrarian to this. I think Gen Z is very practical. They're very quick to pick up things. They don't waste time. They are very vocal. So what the previous generations missed out was they would not say things as is. Gen Z says things as is. I love working with the Gen Z, by the way. I really enjoy it. So I think having a worldview of your own and running your startup with that worldview is very dangerous. I've done that mistake. I've learned from it. I would advise don't run your startup with only your worldview. Have a strong core leadership team